This video is on the laziness of law enforcement, the sorry-ass bastards that we pay taxes to for them to watch our children die. I can do things that parents can't do because I have no children to lose. When I went to the police before Natalie died to get them to take a look at what was going on, they treated me how you would expect them to treat a man. Would you expect them to treat a woman this way? Hell no. You would ostracize them and you would be out for blood. But if it's a man, it's fine. It's because of vindictive women like Jamie Curtis and Alicia Bollinger that when a woman is raped, that she gets treated like she did something wrong, because there are so many vindictive women out there who do things wrong, who throw it out there not caring what it does to a man in his life and how people treat him when you falsify information in such a way. For me, my issues did not end there. People keep saying I should go get mental help. Well, with all due respect, I don't have the money. I don't have a vehicle to take myself to these places. See, what I needed was the things that were stolen from me because of slander, because of how people treated me over that slander. There's a video here with Steve Tombleson. He's one of the witnesses that went to court with me. No matter what, none of my public pretenders would do their jobs. None of them would look at the evidence. Steve Tombleson was there for at least one of those situations. So is Tabitha Michelle Cook's boyfriend, Graham. I went to the police for help before Natalie died. I was seeing multiple therapists trying to get help, including Nicole Peralta and Jeffrey Ritter. Nicole Peralta works in Sydney, Nebraska. Jeffrey Ritter works in Denver, Colorado. They didn't do anything to put a stop to the abuse. The things that I've had to go through because these people wouldn't do their jobs is disgusting. Now you guys notice how many judges and lawyers and police officers are in the news for child molestation and rape. Imagine how many got away. Lynn Whalen of Slab City has been fighting the same fight I have against child molesters and rapists and people who are cruel to animals. Clearview is in Larimer County, Colorado. Lynn Whalen used to work for the very court system that she now speaks out against in Larimer County. That's where Clearview Behavioral Health is. The very same Clearview that I was sent to before Joseph Michael Lopez, who was Natalie Bollinger's killer, was caught. The same Clearview that had at least 5 people kill themselves after leaving there because it was so terrible. The same Clearview that killed a man doing what it is that they did to me. The system is corrupt. These people don't understand anything except for a body count. And that is sad to me. Jamie's not going to be willing to come forward unless someone she cares about, actually cares about, is at risk. But really and truly, the only two people that Jamie Curtis cares about are herself and her son. And I'll be goddamned as if I'm going to let anybody harm either one of them. When it comes to the FBI, Shelley Rochelle Campbell, one of Natalie's ex-stepmothers, she got in contact with me before Mr. Lopez was busted. When I told her that I was trying to get a hold of the FBI, she encouraged me. This is right after I got out of Clearview. I walked around for 2 days trying to find the FBI office, the FBI building in downtown Denver, to try to show them in person. Because when I send stuff across the internet, apparently law enforcement doesn't receive it. I wonder how that is. I have made so many attempts to get this evidence to be looked at by police, by law enforcement, by judges, by public pretenders, by the FBI. But the FBI is useless. The police aren't useless. They know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to hide poverty from the American public. They're trying to victimize the homeless in order to fill their own pockets and feed themselves artificial prestige. The police are heavily involved in protecting their own from their own wrongdoing. You're damn right I speak out. Somebody has to. The FBI I've made over 100 phone calls to, from one end of the country to the other. The FBI are goons. They don't do a goddamn thing. They don't do any real investigating. Nobody looks at both sides. A pretty girl says whatever she wants, and you do whatever you want. The fact is, Natalie Bollinger never, and all of the things that I've gone through, all of the evidence that I've looked at, never once did she ever make any sort of a claim about me raping or molesting her. Yet her friends, her ex-boyfriend even, Tim Beeson, the one who held her down and screamed in her face and stole her dog, felt the need to call me terrible things, like a child molester. I've been speaking out against child molesters for over 30 years because I had to endure it growing up. The police don't care. Most of these officers are involved in covering up for child molesters. Lynn Whalen can testify to that. The thing is, most of these people, like Alex Furman, Candace Bondurant, Kayla Trujillo, and a great many others, are more afraid of the police than they are of being busted lying. I will not stop speaking out. I will not stop ostracizing these people. They shamed their own names. The things that I have had to do, the laws that I have had to break, aren't for my own safety. I want my life to end. It's for the safety of these backstabbing bastards. If they were not afraid, they should have not ever claimed to be so. If they're not afraid of the police, they shouldn't have said they were afraid of the police. I'm after the FBI. I'm after the police. I'm after the judges. I'm after the public pretenders. I don't want their heads on a pike. I don't want them served to me on a silver platter. I want these people to do their jobs, and the ones who don't, I want in prison for the rest of their lives, for the lives that they have taken through incarceration and murder. Shooting someone isn't the only way to murder them. There's also exposure, where you take away their right to keep themselves warm and sleep at night, and they freeze to death. Or you drive them out into the country and drop them off without the proper gear to survive in the cold, and they freeze to death. They can kill you by looking away. There was a man who was killed. There's a guy named Shady Dan. And there's a video from a woman named Anna where we talk about finding Shady Dan dead behind the pedestrian factory, or the pedestrian shop in Boulder, Colorado. The same week that he died, there was a man who was killed up on the hill in Boulder, and there was a rumor that police had done it. The man's chest was crushed. He had blunt force trauma to the head as well. And police would not investigate it because he was just a homeless man. And nobody cares about the homeless. I fight for your rights because you're too afraid to. I fight for your rights because the FBI won't. Because the judges won't. Because law enforcement won't. Of the hundreds of pieces of evidence of harassment against me just in the last 2 weeks, how am I supposed to go to hundreds of court dates? How am I supposed to get that done when I can't even get to one? In order to get a court date, I have to get these people to collect the evidence. I spent over 2 years trying to get the police to take a look at the evidence, and to this day, not a single police officer has done so. Officer Jared Hahn doesn't just deserve prison. He deserves to go in there, into the prisons, with those people knowing that he was a cop, knowing that he was a dirty cop, who turned a blind eye to rape, turned a blind eye to child molesters, turned a blind eye to victimization of disabled people. He deserves to go in there into general population with Sheriff Scott DaCosta of Dual County, Nebraska. They deserve to go in there with their bright orange jumpsuits and have it announced to everyone in the place what it is that they did. When you're homeless, your stuff gets stolen. Anything of value is the first to go, especially when you're dealing with meth heads and they're everywhere. When you're homeless, you have to worry about homeless on homeless crime. You have to worry about police on homeless crime. The fact is, it's against the law for the judges, all of the judges that I dealt with, to do the things that they did. In all of these cases, all of these court dates, they would postpone them and postpone them if somebody went with me. When Alyssa Rainwater showed up to one of my court dates, and I don't know if she did or not because I didn't see it, but they changed my court date at the last minute, probably because someone showed up. The United States is burning the whole world down while you pretend like we're the greatest country on earth. We're not. I spoke to FBI officers, or to the FBI in Virginia. I spoke to them here in Nebraska. I spoke to them in Colorado. I even recorded many of the calls. You guys expect me to be calm and collective and happy all the fucking time. I literally cannot take care of myself. And because of that, I was victimized repeatedly and continue to be victimized repeatedly. You guys want to treat me like I'm a bad guy for speaking out. It is my First Amendment right to do so. The Second Amendment is meant to protect the First Amendment. And although I don't choose to carry a firearm, I believe that all of you should. I believe that the system allowing so many of these child molesters to walk free. Get a hold of Lynn Whalen. Ask her about it in Larimer County. At one of my court dates, there was a man who used to be in the military. He molested a 6-year-old boy. And they let him walk right out of the courtroom. An actual child molester, and they let him walk right out. Meanwhile, when a police officer rapes a woman, he gets away with it. I read an article saying there was over 400 officers accused of rape in a 9-year period in the United States, and I can tell you that's complete bullshit. I can tell you now that it's far more than that, but the police won't take a report about one of their own. Your guilt is just assumed. I will speak out until the day I die, so if you want me to shut up, you're going to have to kill me. If you are not willing to kill me, telling me to shut up is falling on deaf ears. You don't mean enough to me for me to do so. Your children mean more to me than you ever will, even the ones I've never met. A child I've never met means more to me than my favorite adult. I don't need to burn the whole world down. I said if anything happened to my older brother, Natalie Bollinger, or Jamie's son, I would burn the whole world down. The United States is doing that already. What we need to do is we need to burn the United States down. I don't mean literally. I mean we need to take this place back from the son of a bitches. We need to take the United States back from Epstein's customers. And he was friends with almost everyone in the federal government. He was friends with a lot of people. Friends with Donald Trump. Imagine that. I will speak out until the day I die. But right now, in my personal opinion, public enemy number one needs to be the FBI. We've got all these natives missing all over the United States, and the FBI pretends to care for a very short period of time. They pretend like they're trying to help for the media. They're not going to pretend this for the families. You ask these natives who have missing family members, ask them how they feel about the FBI. Ask them how they feel about local law enforcement. Ask them how they feel about the help that they got. The United States is a dirty country. We need to get rid of our government. We need to start with the FBI. We need to start with the crooked judges and the child molesters in the White House. Before we can save people from these predators, we need to do something about them. Alicia Bollinger needs to be locked up. But unlike me, she has help. She can get away with doing whatever she wants because of sympathy over her dead sister. She doesn't need sympathy. Alicia Michelle Bollinger has proven that she's a monster. And if the FBI was worth a shit, they'd have her in custody already.